Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics, the podcast to distract your mind. Real people and their stories, raw and uncut.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. I hope you're doing well, hope you're loving yourself, and I hope you're having an amazing day. So we have Harry Sanders in the studio with us. He is formerly known as Phil's Marathon, and we'll get on to why he goes by Phil's Marathon. But mate, Harry, how's life in general?
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. Just training and getting by, I guess. Recently got a place by myself. So turned into an adult then and a man now. Everything's good, man. Yourself?
Cool. Yeah, busy, bro.
Yeah,
busy. Last few months probably the busiest my life's ever been. But a good busy.
Like good growth, eh?
Good growth. That's one, bro. Hustle, good growth. Yeah, couldn't complain, to be honest.
Yeah,
mate. Let's get straight into it. Phil's Marathon. Your name's not Phil.
Nah.
So what's the story behind that, bro?
So I changed it. I had I've done charity running and whatnot for a while, and the Instagram account, it was just for running, I guess. Yeah. It was like Harry's 2,300 Ks for charity. It's like, if anyone would ask me, I'd be like, hold on, I need to get my phone out because I'd forget the sequence. So I just changed it to Philip's my middle name, and it's my granddad's name. And my cousin, he's like my best mate. He passed away, and it's his middle name too. So that's why the Phil part was in there. And then marathon is just like, I don't know, like life's like a marathon, and you go through so many obstacles, and there's so many ups and downs on a marathon like life. So yeah, that's where that like kind of comparison comes through. But
yeah, where did your love from running come from? Because you did.
I hate running.
I was going to say, you released a video the other day of you running up Dombuck Hill.
Oh,
and you compare to in high school how you're kind of doing it for your high school self, because back in high school you hated doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you just saying now you hate running. What's the thrill in it? Like, what makes you want to do it if it's something you don't like?
I wouldn't say I hate running, but it's more like the mental gains you get from it. Like, I can't, like, anyone who's listening, or if there's no one, that's all good, but anyone who's been for a run, like, you can't say you feel like it wasn't worth it at the end. Like, I mean, you might be sore, but the mental win you get from it, that's, I guess, what I like about the running, and just pushing yourself and see how far you can go. But,
yeah. What's the furthest you've pushed yourself before?
Like physically.
Physically, mentally, yeah.
Physically would be the 7 and 7, and probably mentally actually, just like the consequences. But it was more of a mental, like myself. I was actually fine, but yeah. So that would be that.
Yeah.
That was 7 marathons in 7 days. But I want to do 50 and 50 next year, start of the year. But that's I'll get to that later. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Mate, have you been one to beat yourself up, like self-doubt sort of thing? Have you been one to have bad self-doubt in the past? If so, how do you push past self-doubt?
Yeah, I guess self-doubt's something everyone has, right? Like, even if it's just getting up in the morning, like if you've got an alarm set early, when you start work early, it's like, shit, I got 5 more minutes, like just that sort of thing. But it's dwelling on the self-doubt. I still do it to this day. Like, I have anxiety quite bad. I wouldn't say quite bad, but it's there, and it's just learning to control it, I guess. So yeah, there's always doubt and things.
Yeah.
With
anxiety, we'll move on to anxiety. How do you push past it when you have real anxious days, or days where the flow isn't there?
Yeah. I think just trying to stick to like a plan of things that you can achieve. So like, even if you're writing them out, I know everyone says this, but like writing a couple things out, and at least you're achieving some things. Like, it might just be go to work and then get your run in or whatever. I always try to do a run if I feel like crap, because at least then I've done something like for me rather than just work, because work is work, right? Like, it shouldn't be your life, as much as sometimes it is. You're probably going through that now with those busy months, but yeah, like, it shouldn't control you, I guess. You should still have control over it. But yeah, just do the little things that make your box full, whether it's like going for a beer with the boys or forward driving or whatever it is. But yeah.
Love that, bro. Now, we've got you in here today because on the 1st of July, you're taking on something pretty hefty. 100 Ks. It was going to be on Piha Beach, but now it's Piha.
Yeah.
Mate, what are you fundraising for? The what's, the whys. Why have you chosen to done this?
So I initially was going to do 100 Ks on Muruwai, so go all the way from main entrance up to Southhead and back, but the council's sort of stopping that. Obviously the beaches are shut due to the floods at the start of the year, and I just want to restrict the community, I guess, and like the iwis up there and stuff. I don't want to step on too many toes, just to do a run. So I'm going to do 100 Ks on Piha. So 100Ks like is achievable, but then on sand is it's getting harder and harder, and like running, there isn't really a time period in place. It's just more get it done and see what happens. But yeah, and the purpose behind it is the same purpose I did my last couple events for, which is Back to School Project. They're a West Auckland charity. The kids actually go to my school that I teach at, and they give like stationery or backpacks to children who can't get an education or are in need of stuff to get an education. So they do a fundraiser each year, like a big kind of party, and give the kids their backpacks with all their stationery. It's quite cool to be a part of. Yeah. But so hoping to raise some money for that and awareness for them, I guess. Little gig.
Yeah, well, it's cool, mate. And for those who are tuning in, if you don't know Mirawai or Piha, Mirawai is a very long beach, so 100 Ks would be a
Go
lot
out
less.
and back.
Yeah. Piha, on the other hand, have you calculated how many?
It's like
leagues?
1.5K or 2, so it's going to be heaps of loops, which is going to be probably more mentally breaking, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm going to do it, it's just whether how painful it's going to be mentally and physically. But at least you don't have the tides to worry about there and just sweep you off.
That is true, yeah.
Because Middleway is pretty hectic on high tide, but
That was the first thing that came to my head, though, when you said it had been moved to Piha.
Yeah.
I was going, crap, okay. Mirawai, that's more less restraining mentally.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just one long line and back, and then you're done.
Yeah.
But going fast line rock 100 times.
Yeah, I know,
like,
it's going to break you. And I haven't been out to Piha for ages. It's just we had to change, obviously, due to those circumstances. But I'll go out this weekend and see how long it is. It's like 500 metres. That would suck.
Sorry, guys, we're gonna can it.
I don't actually care about it anymore.
Mate, to this date, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit with this question, but to this date, what has been one of the biggest achievements you've personally made for yourself? It could have been a milestone and with the length of a run, or maybe something mentally, proving yourself wrong, or what's the first thing that comes to your head when you think of a big achievement in your life?
Biggest achievement and like turning point in my life was probably doing my first boxing fight in 2017. So nothing revolved around running. It's just like I came from so much struggle at the time.
Yeah.
Like everyone has struggle, and mine wasn't as big as others, but it was still big on me. And it was like swallowing me up. And then I overcame that and did that fight, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was in 2017. So.
Would you be open to talk about the struggle going through at that point?
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. So going into last year of high school. When did you finish school?
2020.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
5 years. So I finished Massey High in 2015. Going into that last year, like you did something about football the other week. Hey,
Yes.
are you still playing footy? Or?
Yeah, I've got back into it this year. It's
a hard graft coming back, eh?
After 4 years, it is, bro.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah. Footy was like my life. Footy, partying, like, year 13, like footy, partying, and just worrying about when the next party is, I guess. That's like all I cared about. And my family, of course. So I had those three things. And then I tore my ACL and meniscus in year 13, and I thought that was going to be like, I was never that good, but like your breakout year, you're like you're the big dog of high school. So did that mid-year, and then I guess that removed like one positive outlet that I had, and I just turned to partying, and I'd go to like 2 or 3 parties every week, and it was just, doing all the dumb things teenagers do. And then fast track to year 13 exams. My nana passed away the first week into our last exams, and she lived next door to us, so it was quite a big thing at the time. I mean, everyone's grandparents get old and they pass on, but it was the first like loss I'd ever had. And I remember me and my cousins were all pallbearers, and me and my cousin closest to me, he was 21, were going on how hard it was, and it was like probably the worst thing we'd ever suffered. We went up to the cemetery a month after she passed, so this was going into Christmas week, and then we were just having a beer and stuff, went home, had Chinese, and then the next day he passed away, so he was 21, had a seizure and whatnot. So yeah, he passed away, Nana passed away, and they were buried next to each other like a month apart. It was bloody like mind-blowing, but still to this day that's like heavy on me, I guess. But it's just learning how to deal with it, and things happen. But so that all happened, and then after high school, obviously, like yourself, you would have felt this. You kind of feel a bit lost in the world, eh? Like you don't really know what to do, and I went into a trade which wasn't good for me, like that toxic masculinity, like going through a trade. And so I was quite low for a year or two. Literally just became an introvert, or I was like another personality, which was just out partying, chasing girls and doing drugs, just all the dumb stuff, which you shouldn't. And then I found boxing and got into that, and that's kind of when I made a little bit of turn with fitness and whatnot, and lost like 23 kilos, I think, before my fight. Yeah, I put on quite a bit of weight due to like all the things that happened. So I got down to like 68, 69.
Holy crap.
I'm like 83 at the moment, but I was like 96 before boxing and got down to that. So yeah, you felt really good, but then yeah, it was just still learning. Even though when you did the fight and it was this massive thing, the weight of like all the mental stuff's still going to be there, right? So yeah, that's what happened then.
Yeah. So in this case, then, was boxing your how am I going to word this? Was boxing your way to find yourself again?
Yeah, I guess like and just it establishes so many different things in your mind, and you like learn that team culture again and the discipline, and like I guess you've got to show up or you're literally going to get hit in the face. Like if you don't train or you don't do that extra session, like it could mean you get knocked out in the fight or in sparring or whatever. So yeah, so I did boxing for 3 years under a guy named Albie Robeck. He does quite a lot of like mental health stuff, and he's just an awesome dude. But yeah, so that's what happened then. And I guess I found myself through like fighting, which is weird, but it's such a good outlet. Yeah.
So you wrapped up in 2020 then with boxing? Is that when you kind of stopped?
Yeah, kind of, and that's when I got into the running. I got concussed like twice in maybe like 2 months, and then I realised maybe I'm not Anthony Joshua, so give this crap up. It's not really a sport like footy either, where like you can just go out each week, and if you like, I just thought of the whole thing, like if you're getting hit in the head and you're not going to be the best, why are you going to just do it? Like that was my mentality on it.
Yeah.
Like it was still all good, but yeah.
So the reason I asked was it 2020 you ended it, because I was going to say, how was your transition after boxing? You know, but you went into running. But even starting with the running, did you find for the first little bit you falling into your old kind of habits, or were those habits kind of flushed away during those 3 years of boxing?
Habits in terms of just like doing all the dumb stuff.
Dumb stuff, but also kind of just doing stuff. You know, not having so much of a habit and a routine, that sort of thing.
So I jumped straight into a routine, I guess, when I almost overloaded myself with boxing. So I was 2021, I stopped boxing, sorry.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So I was doing boxing, like training 5 times a week. And then I started this challenge that was my like first big thing. And that was like 2,300 Ks in a year. So it was like 43 Ks a week for a year straight. So I went into that as I was boxing. So I was like doing that and that at the same time. So that routine carried on through, I guess. So I'd like ended one and went into another. And I mean, I still have like, I'll go have a beer with my mates or whatever. And it's good to blow out every now and then. But it's just like learning when enough is enough, I guess. Yeah.
If you could say something to your younger self today, what would you say?
Like high school self, I actually like speaking about this. I found like a class photo from my first year of high school, first year of primary school the other day.
Oh yeah,
and it's quite like I don't know if you've seen Nico Hines. Do you know who Nico Hines is? He's got a podcast at the moment, but it's about like when you're young. And I like looked at this photo and I was like, would you be proud of yourself? Like looking at your 5-year-old self. It's quite interesting, but I don't know. Just like don't dwell. Obviously, the small things, and you're gonna get through. You got a good family and things like that. I don't know. It's like hard to put yourself in that position.
Would you say you've done a lot of growing in the past 7 years? Would you say you've done a lot of growing since last year of high school?
Yeah, definitely. Since I was quite arrogant in my last year. Like, when you're in year 13, like you just think you're the shit, right? Like, nothing can stop you. It didn't help. We had this little like group we had called Hustle P, and like everyone blew bubbles up our like. We had like
here's a photo.
Merch. Yeah. Like, but yeah, definitely since then, like you realize what's like actually valuable in life, and you can't take any like. You can't put like your value of other people doesn't really matter. Really, it's what you think of yourself, and
love that. Just
thinking that like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's learning what does matter and what doesn't, and once you realize that, things like are a bit smoother.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested, bro. Once you left high school, what was the aspect for friends for you? You know, to this day, are friends something that's important for you? You know, for the whole friends and family, are you still friends with a lot of people you were with in high school, or when you kind of started to sort your shit out, did you sort of drift away from the crowd and the people you're hanging with?
Yeah. No, I'm still with like the same core group. Like we were just, I guess your mate's probably the same. Like you go through that age where you're 18 and you live and don't care about anything. And we've all grown. Like I live with my best mate. He's been my best mate since we were year 4 at primary school. We went through primary and high school together. And I live with him now. So like everything's sort of still similar, and we've gone through everything together. Like they've all had their own problems. Like one of my best mates lives in the UK now. I'm going to be his best man. And we all went to high school together, and yeah, so the same core group's still there, which I think is really good because we've experienced everything together.
Yeah.
And like he's getting married now, it's like whoa, and like other people
How's
having
it
kids,
happened?
it's like whoa, like we're actually making it through. Like our high school teachers will be laughing. But yeah.
No more hustle fee.
Yeah. We actually saw our old accounting teacher not long ago. He's the principal at Massey now, but he was just cracking up at like how we're all professional roles, and he's like, surely you didn't get your teaching certificate by like surely I didn't give it to you. And just like, yeah, it's cool seeing how much you grow though from that, because I mean if I stayed like that I wouldn't have gone anywhere, and
Who knows where you'd be?
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think I was that far gone, but it was good. It's good to see growth, and like all of us have grown so much, so yeah.
Yeah. Mate, what's a piece of advice you'd have for, you know, the young boy, the young girl, or a grown man, grown woman who...
Yeah, some people are like still in those phases when they're like 40, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, man. What's the advice you would have for someone who doesn't particularly like running, but uses it as a way to vent? Because, you know, I've gone through my stages of loving running and using it as a way to escape a lot of things. But it's hard to keep a habit of it, especially when it's something you don't love a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So if someone's wanting to try running or wanting to try it as a different form of exercise or way to get out of their head, or doesn't particularly like it but wants to force himself to do it to become a better person, what's something you'd have to say to them?
I think it wouldn't be like do running as such. It's more like just find something that's in your niche or what you actually enjoy. So it could be F45 or that BFT, or it could just be doing your own thing at home. Like home workouts, they're quite big at the moment. But just like staying consistent and remember why you started. Like, are you making yourself proud from the first point, kind of like that first person who wanted to start? Keep that person in your mind and make them proud. But yeah, I mean, I think like of some pretty dark things when I'm out running, so I don't want to like, tell people to do that. But and not everyone's going to go run 60 Ks and think like Goggins, but yeah, it doesn't work for everyone like that. But just remember why you started and keep that purpose in mind, and then just keep trying to make that person proud. That's like a good way to think about it.
Yeah, well, I mentioned before and brought up the post you did the other day. I really love that, how, you know, you said that your high school self would be laughing at you now when you ran 3 times up Donbuck Hill. Like, that kind of mindset, once you've hit a point in life and you know you're loose and you've kind of figured your shit out and you figured yourself out, when you kind of reach that point and you're like, damn, I've done it, you know? Like, I'm where I didn't think I was going to be. I'm doing well for myself. I'm someone who I didn't even know I could become, you know, the potential I have now. And I'm not saying for those people out there, you know, reckless, like splashing all their money on alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Just, like you say, reckless in just life.
Yeah.
You know, making that transition into the real world, just feeling lost, like you said before. And what do I do now? Oh, my mate's going to uni. Should I go to uni? Oh, they're going into a trade. Should I go follow them in a trade? I don't know what to do. Like that sort of loss with himself. So once you reach that point and reach that milestone, that's such a refreshing feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, because I know people that are like, you mentioned the financial thing, like some people might figure themselves out financially and they think they've just done it all, but they're mentally still the same person they were when they're 18 and just doing dumb stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's just finding you, I think, not worrying about like the external things, like literally dig inside and be comfortable with yourself. Yeah.
Mate, how do you prepare for, well, you said you want to do 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, how the heck are you going to prepare for something like that?
I think it's just like going off the 7 and 7 and the, like, I don't know if you've read Goggins. Like, he's not for everyone, and I understand that.
He's keeping me awake at night some nights, that's for sure.
Just hearing his voice. Yeah.
Everyone's asleep, you get out of bed!
It's like he talks about like this cookie jar theory, and it's like writing all the things down that you have done or like suffered through. So it could be good and bad things. Just writing a list and then noting what they are. Like I wrote on my phone before the 7 and 7. I haven't looked at it really since, but and then just understanding like those things are things that have got you here, so you can push through what you're currently going to do or what challenges are like to lay ahead. And that could be in your day to day as well. Like if everyone wrote down things they've accomplished and things that they've suffered through, like you've still got through them in the end of the day. You're still breathing.
Yeah.
So they're good little like things to get through. But the 50 and 50 would be like pretty mad dog. Like yeah.
That's
yeah.
out the gate.
It's like 7 times the 7 and 7. But yeah, I don't think it's unachievable. I mean, like I remember talking to someone on day 6 of the 7 and 7, and it's like I don't have anything else to do today, and like everyone's here supporting me, so I can just keep running. It's not like any more than what the other people are putting in. So they're like giving their days off and helping out. If I had people helping, why couldn't you do it? Like yeah.
How long is a marathon?
42.2.
42.2.
Don't scare me like this.
Holy heck.
Yeah, so it'd be like 2,000 Ks in a month and a half.
Mate, that is... Hey, if you want to do it... if you want to do it and you set out to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, hard out.
100%. You got to fucking... Oh, I don't swear, but you got to back yourself.
Yeah,
you have to back yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't realise is they have so much more potential than they think they do because they don't back themselves. You know, who gives a crap what your friends or sometimes what your family says, or if they... I had Jackie Ching in the other week, and he brought up a scenario when he spoke to his careers teacher, and he said he wanted to do acting and Muay Thai, and the careers advisor compared him to another student. And he's like, oh, this student's doing this. Why don't you do what he's doing?
Trying to put him in like a lane.
Yeah, because if in a few years, if you work hard like he is, you'll be real successful like he is. And he's like, well, I don't want to do what he's doing. I don't want to be like him. This is what I want to do. So then he went out the next year at 19 and got an agent, and he filmed on Mulan, the movie. And he said for that first year, that was to prove her wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You back yourself against all the odds, against what everyone's saying to you, what everyone's thinking about you, the stuff they're trying to justify to you, and you just back yourself. You can do it, 100%.
Yeah, dead right. Like, people are always going to tell you no with everything you do, whether it's big or small, and you just got to truly believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
If you don't truly believe it, then you're going to let doubt jump in, and then you're done, really.
Yeah.
You may as well not start. But yeah.
When you find yourself doing those long runs, maybe it's a marathon, and you have those thoughts coming into your head, how do you shut up those thoughts if you do? The voices.
It's more the guilt of like you're wasting, because I have a missus, we've been together for ages, but you're literally wasting half your weekend running. It's like the other week I did a 60 and it was at the track. It was like 6 hours or something, but that's like half a day.
Is that at the Trust Stadium?
Yeah. So that's like 6 hours of your Sunday waste. So it's like, I should just stop. Like, she wants to do something, and I said I would. And yeah, it's more like that kind of guilt, I guess. But then like digging inside to me, like the non-external things, it's more like to keep going. I think of like my cousin who passed. He's like my best mate. Like he'd be like, he'd kill to be here and be alive and be doing so. He'd just love life. So, like, just keep running for him kind of thing and make him proud. That's, like, how dark I deep, because you have to dig real deep. But, yeah.
Would you say he's one of your whys?
Yeah, definitely, like, behind everything. And then I've always liked helping people. That's why I do it for the charity, all that sort of stuff that I am. And even if I help one kid, it's still helping one kid more than what I would have if I didn't do it. So that's, like, the thought behind it. Like, I could raise 50 grand or 30 grand or $10, like maybe not $10, but that's like a Happy Meal. But
that went so big and then $10.
Maybe but they do their packs, and I think they're $60 to do an entire pack for a child. So if I got one pack, it's still one kid. I'm gonna put a smile on his face and help his year out. So
did you say the kind of that organisation runs around the school that you work at?
They covered 480 kids in West Auckland last year. They're very small. They're growing. They're aiming to do 850 this year, and they just targeted West Auckland at the moment. And then they're gonna hopefully they'd like to branch up. But so it's just doing things like that. And they've jumped in a couple schools now, like how there's Gumboot Friday and stuff.
Yeah.
Pink Shirt Day. They're doing like it's called Day One. It's like a back to school day. And they do stuff like that. So they're doing that through, I think, 10 schools in West Auckland, which is quite cool.
Yep.
It's the day before my run, actually, which is like also cool.
How convenient.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so just helping them out where I can. Last year we did 1,000 Ks around our school bike track, and the kids all brought in stationery and donated, and it was like a big event. And I think they got like 100 packs worth or something ridiculous. So that was pretty cool. Getting the kids run 1,000 Ks. There's one kid, he did like 23 Ks, and it was like December the 10th or something, so it's hot. I was like, dude, you need to slow down, you're going to pass out. Like, he did 25 Ks and he's 10. Yeah, just mahi dogged it. But yeah, so yeah.
So 50-50, what is your 100K run on 1st of July? Any other projects that are in the works or things you're wanting to do in the near future?
I want to do New Zealand, like, that would be cool.
Like top to bottom?
Yeah, top to bottom. People do that, but I'd do it in like a different way where I go through schools, and it'd be this for the back to school, most likely. Well, someone who's helping kids, because obviously that's where my career is. And to go through the schools and actually talk to the schools like about why I'm doing it, and then like they could run a couple Ks or whatnot as I go past their schools. So stopping at schools and talk on the way, and like actually get the schools behind it and understand why you're doing it, rather than just run from top to bottom and look like a dick at the end, like yay for me. But because it's not about me, like I don't care about anything like me personally, like with the running. I hate like the social media stuff and all that, but it's more for like getting stuff for that charity and helping those kids out, because that's where the joy is. But yeah,
cool, bro. Well, before we wrap it up, I want to say this is my new thing this year. Imagine your life up to this point as a movie, okay? And just before those closing credits come down, you've got one final scene. Say anything you want to the world, maybe a message to yourself for the future. Maybe something you want to put out in the universe so you can manifest it or whatever you want to do. Mate, it can be your time. Take all the time you need. Don't feel rushed, but it's your time to put anything out into the world.
Way to put me on the spot.
Good. Don't feel rushed. Take your time.
I guess just like keep doing things that tick your box, and like make sure you're happy each day waking up. Otherwise, you've got to make a change and like think about what that change is. So it might be work. Like at the moment I'm going through like work troubles, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? But you got to like be happy waking up, right? Otherwise, if you wake up in the morning, you're not happy, something has to change. Otherwise your whole day is just going to be ruined from that. I guess that's my leaving credits.
Lovely, bro.
Star Wars outro.
What a way to close it, mate. Well, thank you for coming in today for our chat, mate. Thank you for being open and just sharing your whys, and just making it okay to find yourself and lose yourself and get back into life and try new things and the whole 9 yards. Thank you for coming in today, mate.
Yeah, sweet, man, having me on.
All the best for your trek out to Piha.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't go insane.
Go for a swim.
Go for start swimming 50 Ks.
Look like Aquaman.
Well, yeah, bro. All the best for that, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Beautiful, bro. As always, guys, do what makes you happy, do what you know is right, and do what you need to do for you. I'll see you later. As always, love yourself, be kind to others. Goodbye.
Love is